Your dog glances at you every few minutes for a reason scientists just discovered, and it proves something most owners never realize about their bond. Your dog chose you. Out of every person they have ever met you. Not the person who sometimes fills the food bowl, not the neighbor who gives them treats on the way past. And most owners spend their entire lives together never knowing why that actually happened. But the process behind that choice is real. It is documented in research. It is built into their biology, and it tells you something about your bond with your dog that most owners never get to hear. If you have ever had a quiet moment of doubt, wondering whether your dog actually prefers you, or just tolerates you, or would choose someone else if they had the chance, this video is going to answer that. And the answer is more certain, more deliberate, and more emotionally loaded than most owners ever expect. There is one thing your dog does, probably today, maybe while you are watching this right now, that reveals exactly how deep that choice goes. We will get to it near the end, and once you know what to look for, you will never question the bond again. 1. You were chosen during a window you never knew existed. Most owners assume their dog just bonded with them, that it happened naturally, over time, without any specific moment or specific reason, just familiarity and routine and being around. But here's what's actually happening. Dogs go through what researchers call a primary socialization window, roughly between 3 and 14 weeks of age, where their nervous system is actively deciding who is safe and who is not, who belongs in their world and who is a stranger. During this window, the brain is doing something extraordinary. It is taking notes on every voice, every pair of hands, every moment of calm, and every moment of chaos. Landmark research by Dr. John Paul Scott and John Fuller at the Jackson Laboratory found that it was not just how much contact a dog had with humans during this period, it was the quality of that contact. How responsive, how calm, how consistent. So when your dog chose you, and they did choose you, they chose you because of how you made them feel before they had any way to explain it. Before you even knew you were being evaluated. That is not random. That is a decision their nervous system made about you, quietly, in the earliest weeks of their life. And here is what nobody talks about. That window closes, the choice gets made, and then something extraordinary happens. They spend the rest of their lives confirming it. 2. Your voice became a reward inside their brain. There are probably several people who interact with your dog. Maybe a partner, a family member, a neighbor, a dog walker. Your dog is polite with all of them, but they chose you. And part of the reason is something you have never thought twice about. It's your voice. But here's what's actually happening. Researchers at Eötvös-Loránd University in Hungary used brain imaging to examine how dogs process the voices of different people. What they found was striking. Dogs do not hear all human voices equally. The voice of their primary attachment figure activates reward-related regions of the brain in a way that strangers' voices simply do not. Your dog did not just get used to your voice over time. Their brain built a specific reward response around it. The tone you use when you talk to them, the way you say their name, the particular cadence of your voice when you are happy, when you're calling them in from outside, when you're just talking to yourself in another room. They know that voice, and their brain responds to it the way it responds to something genuinely good. Every time you have called their name from another room, every time you talked to yourself in the kitchen, and they came to find you without being asked, every time your voice dropped and softened and they pressed a little closer, that was not habit. That was their brain doing what it was rewired to do, moving toward the sound of something it has learned to feel as good. 3. They chose you because you actually saw them. Here is something most owners have never been told. Dogs do not just need attention, they need to be seen. There is a difference, and they know the difference immediately. Have you ever caught your dog just watching you, not asking for anything, not waiting by the door, just sitting quietly with their eyes on you? Most owners smile at it. Weird dog, they say, or they assume they must have a treat somewhere. But here's what's actually happening. In 2015, researchers published a study in the journal Science that changed how scientists understood dogs entirely. When a dog and their owner make prolonged eye contact, both experience a surge in oxytocin, the same bonding hormone released between a mother and her newborn baby. The gaze creates the bond, and the bond deepens the gaze. Research from Dr. Claudia Fugaza at the Family Dog Project found that dogs who received consistent, responsive attention, not just presence in the room, but actual acknowledgement, actual eye contact, actual response to their signals, formed significantly deeper attachment bonds with that person than dogs whose signals went unnoticed. Your dog shows you because you looked back. Because when they brought you something, or sat beside you, or pressed their head into your hand, you noticed, you responded. Something in you paid attention when a lot of people in their life would not have. In a dog's world, being truly seen by someone is one of the rarest and most valuable things there is. You gave that to them. So they gave you something back, their loyalty, their preference, their whole heart. But here's where it gets urgent, because there's something happening every single day that either reinforces that choice or quietly begins to erode it. 4. the signal most owners miss. Has your dog ever had a stretch of days where they seem a little quieter around you? Not sick, not dramatic, just slightly less likely to follow you room to room. A little more likely to settle near someone else instead of near you. Most owners think nothing of it, just a mood, but veterinary behaviorists tell us something very different. Dogs are doing something constantly that researchers call attachment monitoring. They are tracking how their chosen person is showing up for them. Not looking for grand gestures, looking for the small, consistent signals that say, I still see you, you still matter, you are still my person. When those signals fade, not because anything dramatic happened, just because life got busy and the eye contact quietly stopped, and the moments between you thinned out, dogs notice. Their behavior begins to shift, more distance, less shadowing, eyes that start finding someone else across the room instead of finding you. Most owners see this and tell themselves their dog is just being independent. But here is what it actually is. Your dog is not pulling away, they are looking for their person, and not quite finding them in the place they always used to be. And that is not something your dog will tell you with a bark or a whimper. They will just quietly stop trying. The owners who hold the bond the longest are not the ones with the best training or the most expensive food. They are the ones who kept showing up in the quiet moments, in the ordinary moments, long after the newness of having a dog wore off. 5. They're not loyal to you, they're loyal to a feeling. Here is the most important thing in this video, and most owners never hear it. Research on canine attachment has found something that changes everything most people believe about their bond with their dog. Dogs do not form attachments to a person the way we tend to imagine: permanent, unconditional, fixed, regardless of what happens between you. What they form attachments to is a feeling, the feeling of safety, of being noticed, of calm, consistent presence, of someone whose voice their brain has learned to move toward, of home in the shape of a human. Whoever provides that feeling most reliably, that is who gets chosen, and that choice stays in motion every single day. And here is why that is not frightening. Here is why it is one of the most powerful things you will ever understand about your dog. It is about who shows up, who looks, who is present, not perfectly, not dramatically, just consistently, in the small moments that most people walk right past. That person can always be you, not because of anything grand, because of the same thing that earned the choice in the first place. Your dog does not need you to be perfect, they need you to be there, and every single time you are, they make the same quiet decision they made at the very beginning. 6. The one thing they do with you that they do with no one else. Remember at the very beginning, when I said there is one thing your dog does probably today that reveals exactly how deep the choice goes? This is it. Find a quiet moment today when you are just sitting, not playing, not giving commands, just existing somewhere in the house, and watch what your dog does. A dog who has truly chosen you will do something that researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna identified as one of the clearest markers of deep primary attachment. Every few minutes, without being called, without asking for anything, without any reason at all, they will glance up at you, just for a second, just to check that you are still there. The same instinct, the same quiet, unchosen need to locate the one person whose presence makes everything else feel manageable. Your dog is not glancing at you out of habit. Their nervous system is doing something it only does with one person in the entire world, confirming that their safe place is still in the room. It is not a trick. It is not training. It is not them wanting a walk or a treat or attention. It is your dog telling you something they have no other way of saying. Your dog shows you, not by accident, not by default, because of how you made them feel safe, seen, and worth staying close to, because your voice became something their brain learned to move toward, because you looked at them when others looked past them, because something in the way you showed up told their nervous system this is the one. And every glance from across the room, every time they follow you into a room you did not invite them into, every time they settle down closest to wherever you happen to be sitting, that is not coincidence. That is not just what dogs do. That is the same choice, made again, quietly, without condition, without hesitation, without ever needing a reason. The question was never whether your dog loves you. The question was whether you understood how deliberately, how completely they had already decided. Now you do. If this video made you want to go find your dog right now, do it. They have been waiting. And subscribe, because next week we are going deeper into what your dog has been trying to tell you.